Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whenever you are watching this. Are you ready for some Grimsby Town transfer news? You are? Well, you're in for a treat. This video is going to be all about what Grimsby Town have been doing over this past week in the transfer market. Yes, Grimsby have finally made signings in this transfer window. Every Town fan can stop worrying about Ian Holloway finally bringing to the market. He's finally done it. And what I'm going to be doing in this video, this may take a little while, I'm going to be taking you through every signing that Ian Holloway has made this week. So, shall we get started? Let's get started. Let's go. So the first signing we are going to be talking about is obviously the first signing that came to Grimsby Town. It is Bilal Mojni, who is a 33-year-old centre-back. He's a French-Tunisian. He's a 6'3" centre-back. And his previous clubs in Britain are Southend, Ipswich, Rangers and Dundee. And Penchalki in Cyprus was his last club. Now, this is a guy who, shall we say, is very, is eccentric, to say the least, shall we say. He's a controversial character, because at his time with Rangers, in the Scottish Championship playoff final, he had an altercation with Motherwell's Lee Irwin, who, I'll just say a side note, we were interested in a few seasons ago. And he was seen kicking and punching Irwin after the match, which seemed to get him in very hot water, actually, with Rangers as well. He's often described as a fiery, passionate character who also has a decent eye for goal. For a centre-back in Britain, these were his actual records for goal scoring, which is quite outstanding. Southend, he scored 18 goals in 62 appearances. For Rangers, 11 goals in 44. And Dundee, 3 goals in 10 appearances. All in all, in England, he's actually scored 32 goals. 32 goals in England. He was bought in, obviously everyone knows he was bought in by Ian Holloway on trial back in February. Obviously a deal couldn't be reached then. They did stay in frequent contact with each other during the lockdown period, and obviously Ollie saw something in him that made him think, I want to bring him in. I need to bring him in. But to me, he's the kind of character that Ollie goes for. This kind of off the wall kind of guy. Can he tame him? We'll have to find out. But a good little bit of shrewd business to start the transfer dealings. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing him play when he does start for the Mariners. Could be sooner than you think. Next, we move on to the second signing of the summer, which I have over here. And the second signing of the summer came a few days later now. This guy I'm very intrigued by. It's Ira Jackson Jr. Ian Holloway's second signing of the summer is a young promising striker, 22-year-old Ira Jackson Jr. from Folkestone Invicta in the Southern Premier Division. He's a little of a non-league starlet, having trials at places such as Manchester United and Manchester City. at the age of 16. But from the age of 16, started playing for non-league clubs. And the kind of non-league clubs that he played for is Whitstable, Worthing, Margate and Dover, before he obviously found a consistent home, a stable home with Folkestone and Victor, when he signed for them on January the 15th last year, on non-contract basis. If you don't know what non-contract means, it's basically a verbal agreement or pretty much a handshake. There was no actual signing of a contract. It was basically just, I will agree to play for you on this much, and if anything else comes up, it's fine because there's no actual contract. But people could see his talent early on, an eye for goal, a lot sooner than maybe Manchester City or United could see. Just ask the Margate supporters before he even got to Folkestone. I'm about to give you now his goal return. I'll have to look down at my stats for this. But I'll give you now his goal return for the last couple of years in non-league that he actually did. He played for Margate 3 times. He scored 4 goals in that time. 4 goals in that time. And for Folkestone, get this for a goal tally. Again, it doesn't matter what level it is. 29 goals in 22 appearances for Folkestone and Victor. Altogether, that's 33 goals in 29 appearances in just 2 years. But no, it's a pretty outstanding, and it is outstanding to say that at any level, to say you've actually scored more goals than you made appearances. Hello. He comes across actually quite a level-headed kind of guy. He seems to have this self-belief that, which is something Ollie always looks for and is looking for. He wants them to have belief in themselves, and it'll be interesting to see how he performs in first time in the league for us, Grimsby Town. So he's a guy that jumps out to me. He's a signing that when we made it, I went looking about this guy, and what you'll notice is with a few of these are probably players that we don't really know. We don't really know anything about. But I'm very, very intrigued by Ira. That seems like a very, very, very intriguing signing. Now we go on to I have got notes here, by the way, which I got on some of these players because I don't know a lot of them myself. So that's where you're hearing the rustling of the papers and things like that. But for this next guy, the third signing Ollie made comes in form of another striker, another young 22-year-old striker, forward called Montel Gibson. He did make and has made a brief cameo against Town for Notts County in 2017. He did start his career with Highgate United, but soon caught the eye of Notts County and came through the youth system, eventually going on to make 5 appearances for Notts. During his time, he was sent on loan to these non-league clubs: Romulus, Barwell, Hednesford and Sutton Coldfield. His final appearance for Notts County, as I said, came in the 2-0 win at Blundell Park, but he was unable to get a new deal with the Magpies. Following his release, though, he dropped down to non-league to try and get himself going again, trying to get his belief going again. And he played for the likes of Elkington Town and Redditch United and Bedworth United and Hell's Owen, all around the West Midlands area. We have got some goal scoring stats for Montel here. Ilkeston Town, he made 28 appearances, scoring 14 times. They don't have a record for Redditch, but for Bedworth, he scored 3 goals in 14. And for Hell's Owen, he scored 46. He made 46 appearances, scoring 31 goals. He comes with a non-league pedigree for scoring goals and can play as centre forward. But I also have seen videos on Montel, and he seems more like a wide forward than he does actually an out-and-out striker. He's like a wide forward. He is also from Birmingham, which is weird, but considering the links we have to the West Midlands Birmingham area, with the likes of obviously everyone's favourite Brummie striker, Omar Bogle, but also our very own Captain Fantastic, James McEwen, also comes from Birmingham. So, and we've had several players in the non-league years that actually also came from Birmingham, like Luke Maxwell and Jamie Osborne and things like that, all from that similar kind of area. So, us in the West Midlands, we kind of have some kind of connection. People from the West Midlands like coming to Grimsby. So, we'll see how Montel gets on. He's a bit of a different character, I think. But I'm looking forward to seeing this guy play. I think it's going to be I don't know what to make of it. All I can say through the video that I've seen of Montel, he is a tricky little striker. He likes to, like I said, he likes to cut inside. He likes to make runs. I think he'll feed off people like Matt Green and James Hansen fairly well. Whether these will be starters, we'll have to wait and see. But we needed the forwards, and my God, one of the first things he's gone for is forwards. The next signing that I will talk to you about now, as I go through my notes once again, is probably the one signing. This is the 4th signing that was made on Thursday afternoon. Thursday afternoon alongside Montel. He came in within a couple of hours of Montel signing. The one signing that a lot of Grimsby Town fans are looking forward to seeing, and really got real excited about knowing that we got this guy. And it is the signing of midfielder come attacker George Williams. And he's a Welsh international. He's a full Welsh international, joining us from fellow League 2 outfit Forest Green Rovers. I call them the Cabbage Patch Kids. There we go. He can play, as I said, as a midfielder, come forward. I think he's more of a midfielder than he is actually a forward. He's a little bit of a dead ball specialist. So he likes the free kick, and if you saw the video floating around on social media not long ago of his hat-trick that he scored against Newport last season, he scored a belting free kick there. I think everyone was getting a little bit excited when they realised it was him. A little bit about George now. He started his career at the MK Dons, signing for them in 2011 without making a first team league appearance for the club. But he did play for the Dons in the FA Cup tie against Nantwich, which he did score, which made him the youngest player in their history, to score a goal at 16 years, 2 months and 5 days. And youngest player to score in an FA Cup round proper. He went on to seal a big move to Fulham in 2012, going on to make a total of 15 appearances for the Cottagers, while also having spells on loan back twice to the MK Dons, up to Scotland to play for St Johnstone and Gillingham, but was released in the summer of 2018. But on June the 12th, he signed a 2-year deal with Forest Green Rovers. And finally, probably made his most productive time as a player, or at least in front of goal, scoring 8 times in 42 appearances for Forest Green. That's why when they say winger come forward or midfielder come forward, he's definitely an attacking player, but I wouldn't say striker. I would say more attacking midfielder. Also, a bit more about him as well. He did suffer a severe fibula break, which unfortunately I heard did get an infection, so they had to take the plate out, and pretty much they would have had to re-break his bone to put it back in again. But he came back before the lockdown. Before lockdown, obviously came in, and he came back in some decent form, and hopefully he can find it with a pre-season under his belt with Grimsby. Therefore, he did seal the move to the Mariners for the forthcoming season. He signed on a 2-year deal. It has got a lot of Grimsby fans, like I said at the beginning of this, really excited for the start of the season to see what George can do. What I will say about George, though, George, as I said before, is a fully fledged Welsh international. We've had a few of those down the years as well. Kind of like how I say that we're quite fairly linked with people from the West Midlands. We're fairly linked with people from Wales. Players like Darren Barnard and, of course, the great Danny Coyne was also a Welsh international. And he's obviously he worked his way up from the under-17s all the way up to the senior side. So good on him for that. And hopefully he'll be hoping to try and get back in the Welsh team. He was called into the squad as an injury replacement for Gareth Bale. And on June the 4th, 2014, for the game against Holland, coming on in the 70th minute for Johnny Williams. Charlton at the time, Charlton was Johnny Williams. Going on in total so far to make 7 appearances for the Welsh. Like I said, with George, I don't think we're going to get what you call he probably won't get many goals, and definitely not prolific. But from the dead ball side, so free kicks and maybe corners, and he could be quite dangerous. I'm looking forward to seeing how he does, and probably the most experienced out of the 5 we have signed. But I'm kind of looking forward to George. The fans are getting a buzz, whether it's still the Ollie, the Ian Holloway effect, the Ollie effect, still in there. I know people are worried about some of these guys, and they're going, I don't know him. How do we know if he's going to step up? Just before I go on to the last player that we signed Friday morning, what we'll do is we'll actually go on to first player, then I'll make my quick point. The final player that we signed, as I said, which came on Friday morning, was the signature of 20-year-old striker Alhagi Toure Cisse. Now there isn't very much about this lad going about, apart from he's a 6'4" Spanish youngster who comes to Grimsby from Welsh Premier League side Aberystwyth. Say that after a couple of pints. He's had spells at Hearts, Hull, Santi Vincenti, and Stoke City. Most notably, he did score a hat-trick for Aberystwyth in their 5-3 victory last season over Airbus UK. The burly forward seems to be quite nimble with his feet, and Ollie's mentioned that himself. He's got, he seems to have good technique and good skill with his feet, and can put in a good finish. He is a young player, so a lot of time to develop and improve. The kind of signings Ian Holloway enjoys to sign and to help improve. The contract length is initially for a year, with obviously an option attached to extend if we want to. I've simply put here one to keep an eye on this year and see how he gets on. So they are the 5 signings that Ian Holloway has made so far. And the one point I'm going to make just before we wrap up here and finish is a lot of fans are concerned. They're going, we don't know these fellas, are they going to be able to step up? A lot of them. Obviously, I don't think people have concerns about George Williams, but I think the other 4, I think they are going to have sort of like some major concerns. I like the route of what Ollie's doing. Obviously, yeah, his hands are tied to a certain degree, but I also like what Ollie's doing. He's actually making, he's bringing players in that we don't know, so we can't judge because we don't know. We don't know what to expect from these. A lot of them have decent records scoring in non-league football. But we have got 2 players here that have played league football, like Bilal and also George. So we have got a little bit of league experience there. But the 3 young lads that have actually been brought in, I like it because there's pressure on them, but the only pressure they're really going to have is pressure that Ollie puts on them and pressure they put on themselves. It's not going to come from us really because we don't know them too well. So, I'm happy with the business so far. Obviously, Ollie was on Humberside yesterday. It was on Humberside yesterday. On Saturday, if you don't see this now, on Saturday he was on Humberside, and he said there's still a lot of work to do. So I still think he's trying to sift through some other players because he needs more. Obviously, I think before he probably needs at least another 1 in before the pre-season friendly against Cleethorpes. He is struggling to get friendlies apparently set up, which is quite worrying. But I think it's because we didn't know when we were going to be allowed to come back in. By then, everyone had a lot of other clubs that had a rough idea, or were probably in better shape than we were. Kind of knew, could set stuff in motion. So, obviously, Ollie's still got some pieces of the puzzle. In a future video, I will go in about when the season starts, and I'm even going to do a league table prediction and that for League 2 this year, and exactly how and where I think we could finish. But yeah, I'll leave that there. Anyway, what I'll say to you now is I'll be back probably the end of next week with another Grimsby video. and let you know of any other signings in this next week that Ollie makes, and also information on, obviously next Friday the fixtures come out, so they'll be here. So probably on Saturday I'll make the video, but I'll let you know of any other transfer dealings that Ian Holloway makes in the coming week, if any. So I do hope you guys enjoy this, my little information on who we've signed already, and I think we've got some good signings there. It's stepping into the unknown. We don't know who they are, so we don't really know what to expect. So I'm kind of buzzing and looking forward to that. So I'll leave that there. I will see you guys soon. Do leave me a message if you want to tell me what you think. Are you confident of the players? Are you a bit nervous because of the players that he's brought in? A few with very, very little, if any, league experience. And let me know in the comments below what you think. But that is me done, and I will see you next week, hopefully with some more transfer information, but also to let you know exactly who we have at the start of the season and the cup draws which take place on Tuesday. I'll just give them a plug. Sky Sports News for the League Cup draw on Tuesday. They're not exactly sure what date, or sorry, what time that's going to be. It'll be on the 18th of August. Still to be decided. I would imagine around about 7 PM ish, or maybe a bit earlier than that, but still not confirmed that. But Tuesday, sometime Tuesday, probably Tuesday evening, will be the League Cup League Cup draw. My God, that's weird. I'm going to explain what's going off with that, and also the EFL Cup draw is made on the same day. It'll be made on TalkSport 2, I believe from 1:30. So you've got the League Cup draw and the EFL Cup draw on the same, the EFL Trophy draw. I'll just say that again. EFL Trophy. This is the EFL Cup. There we are. But this is why I call it a live recording. But the EFL Trophy will be done around about 1:30 on Tuesday afternoon on TalkSport 2. So if you are intrigued about who we get there, I'll go on about the dates next week and explain what's going on with all the dates and how that's being worked. That'll come on Friday's video. But anyway, enough of me rambling. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you guys next week, hopefully with some more transfer information and of course all the fixtures and cup information as well. Coming to you next week. Enjoy this. Like, subscribe, comment, whatever you like. Let me know what you think. Do you like the video? Do you not? Do you want me to do it a different way? Do you want me to do something different? Let me know and I shall do it. And I will see you guys next week for the next one. Thank you guys. Ta-da for now.